that new whip. Hey, Jose the do trip.
And we're live.
Welcome to BETT Records, where we talk about hot topics, ideas, and all the shit you really want to hear.
What is going on, BETT Records fans? Justin here, alongside Trenton, Quentin, and Josh.
Here.
We are back for another installment of our MMA/combat sports episode. So we'll start off by recapping the past main card, UFC Paris, Ciryl Gane versus Tai Tuivasa. Man.
Upset.
What a great inauguration fight for UFC France. So let's just get right into the main event right away. As Tai Tuivasa's biggest fan, Q-Tip, what did you think of the fight?
I thought it was a good fight overall, honestly. I mean, obviously it's sad to see Ty lose, but I really do think he held his own, and he did get that one killer shot on Gane.
First guy to drop Ciryl Gane.
Yeah, so, I think that Ty can learn from this and he can build better,
I agree with you 100%. Like, even during that time, I wanted Ciryl Gane to win because I want to see a match between him and Francis again, because that's the only guy. Francis, biggest power puncher in the world. He couldn't even put Ciryl Gane to the ground, and Ty did it. Yeah, I was scared for a sec because even one thing I will say about Tuivasa, that guy is tough.
Yeah, he took a hammer.
I don't know. Did you watch the fight? Did you see any of the highlights? So he battered his body. Like, Gane was attacking him, and Tuivasa was, like, leaning down. He hit him in the liver so many times. He, like, bent down. He felt it, but he stood right back up. Usually whenever you hit those shots, you go right to the ground.
Yep.
But Tuivasa he took, like, 60 shots to the body. Are you pulling up the stats?
That was crazy. I can look it up. Yeah, I got it. It's right here. Yeah, Tuivasa, so Gane landed 110 of 168 strikes. Yeah.
How many to the body?
I don't
Doesn't say that.
It doesn't say?
No, yeah, I don't know that specifically what I'm pulling up at least. But I'm sure it was a nutty amount, yeah.
But Ciryl Gane, he showed how elite his kickboxing is and his toughness as well, because even those times where Tuivasa got hurt, he still threw back and connected with Ciryl Gane. Like, at that point, I was just saying, next punch will win this. And there was some criticism afterwards towards Ciryl Gane because the knockout punch he hit Tuivasa with right before he swung and hit him in the back of the head. So, I think it was Junior Dos Santos who called out Ciryl Gane, who Ciryl Gane actually knocked out, saying that he did the same thing to him. I think it was inadvertent. I didn't think there was no intent behind it, and at that point, Tuivasa was already screwed. It was a great knockout. I liked it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Then in the co-main event, we had Whittaker versus Marvin Vettori. Whittaker dominated.
Yep.
Just dominated. That's not how I saw the fight going. Whittaker looked incredible. Like, he looks like he's gotten better. He just stopped.
Yeah, he was definitely pretty impressive.
Marvin didn't even have any answer for anything Whittaker was throwing at him. I'm really... if that was a 5-round fight, Whittaker would have finished him for sure.
Yeah,
Marvin was done. I don't think Vettori landed a single takedown, but Whittaker took him down. It was crazy. UFC Paris was incredible, and I hope they're back there again. What's next for Robert Whittaker? I could see him stepping in and taking on Jared Cannonier in a rematch now that Cannonier doesn't have an opponent since Sean Strickland dropped out. Otherwise, maybe a rematch with Derek Brunson, maybe a fight with Paulo Costa. I know Costa has been calling for that fight. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Otherwise, it's tough to give him a title shot because he's lost to Israel twice. But, if he rings up a couple more wins, it's going to come to that, the Holloway-Volkanovski situation. There's nobody else. So they have to give him that shot. I could potentially see a trilogy down the road. And if Whittaker looks like he did on Saturday against Vettori, against any of those guys, I think that version of Robert Whittaker can beat Israel Adesanya.
Right, sure.
It'll all depend how the Israel and Pereira fight goes in November. What is next for Ciryl Gane? That gets a little tricky. Because, obviously, you got Francis still out. You have a potential John Jones-Stipe fight happening.
Yep.
You could make a case for a rematch with Ngannou, I wouldn't be opposed to it. It just really depends if they can get this Stipe and John Jones fight going. I don't know if we'll see that because it just doesn't seem there hasn't been many talks about it.
Sure.
Yep.
So if that's really the case, I could see Cyril just getting an immediate rematch with Francis.
Sure. Yeah.
And what's next for Tuivasa? That's a little hard.
Hard to say.
True. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, he put up a great fight. He showed great heart, great determination, great toughness. It's just tough to say what I see next for him. You could maybe arguably give him, let's say the Stipe Jones fight doesn't happen, you could give him Stipe if Stipe wants to come back.
Sure.
If Jones does come back but Stipe doesn't want to come back, you can give him that fight too because they've been talking on social media a little bit. Josh, what do you think about Ty? I know you predicted him to win. Did you watch the fight?
Yeah, no, I didn't have a chance to, but...
Did you see the highlights at least?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely interesting. I think he has to kind of rebound from it, but...
For sure.
All right. Do you think
he has no... There's nothing to be ashamed of. Like,
Right,
he fought a
absolutely.
really good guy.
It
And
was still a good fight.
I'm pretty sure that won fight of the night, too.
Yeah.
Probably.
So there's 50
That's
G's
really
for you
good,
right
too.
there. I don't think any different of Tai Tuivasa after that fight. I still think he's a cold-blooded killer. And
Absolutely.
even that fight right there just shows me he does belong in the top of the division.
Yeah.
Do you think he moves down a couple places after that fight? Probably.
Maybe one spot
Yeah, maybe.
because he was.
Because it was a close contest, and I know, there was that
He
shot in the
almost
second or
finished
third
him.
round, right? One of the two.
He hurt Cyril Gane,
Yep.
first guy to
Yeah.
drop him. Because what you have Cyril Gane, #1 contender, and then I think it's Stipe,
Mm-hmm.
then Ty, and can you look up the rankings?
Yeah, so we pulled up the rankings.
Because I know Derek Lewis dropped a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely right.
Ever since the Cyril Gane loss, he has kind of dropped down, but he's still a big name in the division.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that
so-
rematch.
Yeah, Ty moved down to 4. It looks like Curtis Blades moved up to
Blades.
3.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yep.
know what? I think
Razor blades. That'd be a good fight.
You know what? Actually, keep going down. Who else is on there?
We got Sergey.
Pavlich.
Yep. Tom Aspinall.
He's gonna be out for a little bit.
Derek Lewis, 7. Alexander Volkov, 8.
Yep.
All right, keep going.
All right.
We're moving too far
Alright,
down. I
so
don't think he
since-
faces any of those guys
since,
after that.
Since Ngannou's gonna be out for a little bit, I think Cyril Gane should fight Blades. I think that fight makes the most sense.
But why is Gane, fighting these guys? He just beat the #3. Yeah, I get it that they just
Francis
switch,
is out
but
with a knee
Right, yeah.
injury.
all right, but just wait and give him a shot at this. I guess
But
if
you're
he's
still-
ready and he's still
Is
training,
that for the
put him in a
interim?
fight.
That
But
Paris fight? No.
They're planning an interim fight between John Jones and Stipe, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't know what to say about John. I just don't. He's kind of become just a social media guy now.
Yeah.
yep.
He's going on 3 years without a fight, still in the pound-for-pound rankings. I just don't get it.
3 years without a fight.
Yeah, put it like this. The press was still standing the last time he fought.
Jesus Christ.
Because his last fight, you and me were watching in Cowboys.
That's crazy, dude.
And then Volkov, Rosenstrike. I would say give Gane, Blades, and give Ty. Give him Alexander Volkov. I would say that would be a good one. I know Volkov's a little low, but still, you just got knocked out unconscious.
Yeah.
I think you need to pull back a little bit.
Bridge the gap a
and
little bit.
still fight a top contender, a guy who has a name in the heavyweight division. It's even beating him is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good fight to make. It's good style for him. I think him and Volkov would be a good fight. And Cyril Gane versus Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades looking to get a trilogy against Ngannou. He's lost to him twice. So if he really wants that third fight, I think he needs to go through Cyril Gane. And that's what I think about the current state of the UFC. UFC Paris was a banger. Hope to go back there in the future. It was great. Also, we'll get into UFC 279 in a little bit, but I do want to talk about some breaking news today. Is that former UFC middleweight champion and future Hall of Famer Anderson, the Spider Silva, will be taking on Jake Paul in a boxing match in October 28th in Phoenix, Arizona. Wow.
You really want to put this in the UFC segment?
I said UFC and combat sports episode.
I suppose it is.
This is actually a big one because
It's kind of a big deal because he was on Jake Paul's hit list.
yeah, and
Yikes.
Jake even said, "I respect the guy."
Yep.
Yikes.
He said, "I respect the guy," and Dana's been saying for the longest time, saying Jake will not call him out. He's old, but he's actually good. This is a dangerous fight for Jake. What do you think?
I definitely think it is. This is the most interesting one yet. My problem is, and this is why Josh is shaking his head, he's not a boxer. He's not a boxing guy. Yes.
He actually started with boxing. That was his come up.
Interesting. Okay, we didn't see some experience.
He had a boxing match before he
What's
had
the
an
age
MMA
gap?
fight. The age gap is how old is Jake?
40.
How old is Jake?
25, I guess.
22 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say I figured it would be more than
But
20 years.
If you watched, put it like this: Anderson at 46 years old last year beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a guy in his
Did you
early
say 22
30s.
years old? That'd be like me beating up a 3-year-old.
Very different. One's a
Wait,
fully
Jake
grown
Paul's
human
not
being.
22.
He's 25.
He's like 25.
And how old is Anderson Silva?
47.
Okay, but I mean, at least that's not
22
too bad.
fucking years?
But here's my
Be like me fighting a
comeback to
0-year-old.
that.
That's like me fighting my dad. Like, he's got like back issues.
Okay, but your dad's not a UFC fighter. Okay, well, that's a little.
He's still fucking 50.
Here's the thing.
There you
Here's
go.
the thing, though, is that a year and a half ago, Anderson Silva beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., a guy in his early 30s, and he made it look pretty decisive. And then he went on to knock out Tito Ortiz in 40 seconds.
Is this boxing?
Yes.
Jesus.
Oh.
Anderson still has that head movement. He moved away from MMA because you have to understand what it takes to move in MMA like that. Boxing is a lot less movement.
It's a lot.
Even
Would you
in
say
the
it's
Tito
easier?
fight- What's that?
Would you say it is easier?
Easier in terms of MMA versus boxing? Yes.
Yeah,
Well, if you in
I'd
MMA,
have to agree.
Okay, so who would you take in a street fight? An MMA fighter or a boxer?
Neither.
Yeah, I'd probably avoid the situation.
They'd probably run the other way.
No, who do you think would win, a boxer or an MMA
Oh,
fighter?
the MMA fighter.
I would say MMA. Here's the thing. It's obviously boxing rules for this match with Jake Paul and Silva, right? If it wasn't, if it's a true UFC fight, Jake Paul's not winning it.
Who's the promoter?
MVP Promotions.
MVP, yeah.
Is that Jake Paul?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. So you're saying Jake Paul's the promoter and he's a fighter?
Oh, just like Floyd Mayweather?
Yeah,
Oh, weird.
Floyd promoted all his fights,
Huh.
too.
Just like every other boxer? Huh. Weird. So crazy. There's not a UFC, and that is the kind of, I don't want to say problem with boxing.
is just
That's why it's different.
It's just like a
kinda like
WWE at this
free-for-all.
point.
It's a free-for-all.
It's not.
They all
WWE.
say
Listen, I
their
agree with
stories
you.
and they knock their hats off each other and they pants each other at the weigh-ins and stuff and everybody's like, oh my god, and then they get to the fight and it's just the dumbest shit you've ever seen.
My only question is, because Anderson still has his
I
head
hate
movement.
boxing. So stupid. I gave it a chance, but holy shit, it's so stupid.
Would you ever watch like a Canelo
No,
fight?
it's stupid.
Because
Boxing
I
is
want to
stupid.
watch the
I'd
Canelo
see a
Triple G
Canelo
fight.
fight, yeah.
They're fighting in like a week or two. I want to see.
I think
that.
Jake Paul ruined boxing for me.
Damn.
Hot take.
So
Hot take.
if
I
there's,
thought it was okay until I watched him fight, and then I was like, wow, this is stupid.
Oh, wow. He actually hasn't lost yet. He's undefeated. This is
He
stupid.
fights basketball players.
So that's that was my question I was going to come back to. Do we think Silva is going to be better than Woodley?
yes,
I hope so.
yes,
I would hope so as
I would
well.
hope so.
I would hope so as well.
110%.
Age is still there. Yes, better UFC
Silva-
records,
but
right?
wait.
Silva still is athletic.
But the real question, though, is he better than Ben Askren?
Well, okay, they're both better than Ben Askren.
I think all of us in this room are better than Ben Askren.
Okay, but who is the basketball player?
Ben, you want a box?
Nate Robinson.
Nate Robinson. Is Anderson Silva
Yes.
going to be better than Nate
Yes.
Robbins,
Yes.
the basketball player.
Yes.
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 Okay. We just got to compare him to all of his last fights to see where he stacks up. You know, wasn't the other guy like a painter or
YouTuber. No, he's a
something?
YouTuber.
A
What was
YouTuber.
his
Oh,
name?
okay.
What was his
Did he
name?
fight Gibb?
I think that was his exhibition.
No.
I think.
Who's that?
No, it's KSI's younger brother, which is nothing. It's Deji.
So he's
It was
like
Deji.
a YouTuber.
He's a UK YouTuber. Yeah.
Oh,
He
UK
plays FIFA.
YouTube.
He plays
Oh,
FIFA.
a FIFA YouTuber.
Honestly, with
Yeah.
all the back and forth with
Sweet.
KSI, I'm surprised it wasn't KSI fighting Jake.
It's happening though. That fight's still happening next year, supposedly.
Do it. He
KSI
already
Jake
just
Paul,
announced the
supposedly.
fight.
I know. Next year though, supposedly it's on track.
Yeah,
See what
we also
happens.
had 4 Tommy Fury fights.
Hey man, Tommy Fury is a different breed.
Jake said if
Pussy.
that fight ever happens down the road again, if it gets scheduled, he's putting in the contract. You have to put down $500,000
Yep.
as down payment. If you pull out again, I get that money because I'm not fucking wasting my time with you again
Yeah.
without any compensation.
I don't even think you'd do it anymore. Everyone was over it the first time. I was even over it after the first pullout.
How much you want to bet
Second
this
one, I don't
Jake
care.
Paul fight tanks?
Like pay-per-view buy wise.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Anderson
I don't
Silva.
think it will because I've been seeing a lot of people saying like
This is
I
his
will
best
actually
opponent.
Watch this because they love Anderson Silva.
You're gonna get all UFC fans.
It's not like Anderson sucks at boxing. He's actually good.
Yeah, but nobody likes boxing anymore.
Well, maybe. Sure. We'll just
Maybe
say
in
sure.
the U.S., but it's still a big thing overseas and other countries.
true.
They love boxing. Like people in Mexico live or die by boxing. They love box.
Yeah.
They
So
love box.
all of
Love
Mexico's
box.
gonna buy it. Don't worry, Mexico's
Viva
got
la
it.
Jake Paul!
No,
it's
no,
like
I don't. I wouldn't go there. I think it's truly, the UFC fans. It's
The OG,
Anderson Silva.
The OG UFC.
Yeah,
That's
a
Right,
big crowd,
right. It's
yeah.
Anderson Silva. He's gonna knock him out.
How much
We
is
want
the
to see it.
pay-per-view?
I don't know. Probably $40. We'll look into that a different day. But
I bet it's already out.
we'll do another breakdown of this as it
Sure.
comes out. It was just announced, if not today, a couple days
Today.
ago. It was today.
It was
Yep.
rumored for the past week,
Yep.
but it was.
Now we got an official date. It's all being set up. Pay-per-view soon to come. A bigger breakdown of this fight sooner to come as well.
And we also have a potential match between Jake Paul's sister, Logan, taking on none other than the dildo of the dildos, Dillon Danis. What do you think about that fight, Trent?
This is a no-brainer. Logan Paul's got it in the bag. Dillon Danis has, been running Twitter against the Pauls for at least a year, if not 2 at this point, both Jake and Logan. There's definitely some bad blood in there, and they definitely
3 years.
3 years. Okay, I was gonna say they definitely want to pull it through, and I think this is an easy win for Jake Paul if it goes through. Is
Logan.
it easy?
Logan.
Sorry, you're right, Logan.
Yes, it
Is it easy? Maybe, but I think it's got to be. I mean, what's
is
the
very
how
easy.
tall is Dillon Danis?
He's my height.
I was gonna say I figured he wasn't 6 feet, and Logan is, I believe, 6'3", 6'4", something like that. Maybe 6'2". I'm exaggerating, but nonetheless, that's still at least 2 feet on him, if not a little bit more. So
And not to mention Dillon Danis' background is in grappling jiu-jitsu.
that's true.
And he only started training boxing after talking shit to Jake and Logan.
I don't think it'll perform as, unless, we got another gotcha hat moment or something, right? I don't think it'll perform as well as Jake Paul's upcoming fight in October here, or even the KSI fight when that comes next year, as long as that's still on track. But I think there's plenty of people that'll tune into it. It'll be interesting. Again, I hate to say, we got another YouTube boxer against another UFC guy.
He's not in UFC. He's in Bellator.
Who?
Dillon Danis.
He was in the UFC, was he?
No, he wasn't. He's
What?
He's had 2 MMA fights in his whole career, both in Bellator. He hasn't fought in 3 years.
Jeez.
Jake offered him a contract to fight $1 million, and he bitched out of it
Yeah, of course he did.
in his typical fashion. I'm not gonna lie, he is kind of entertaining on Twitter. It's just some of the stuff he does post is pretty funny. Let's see. Let me see some of his Twitters. So we search his tweets. And then
Some
we
of his
look.
Twitters.
Here's all the stuff he tweeted today. Anderson Silva is 47-year-old, of course. Jake is fighting him. ... July of last year, Ben Askren tweets responding to the Poirier-McGregor fight. Conor sounds like such a douche right now. Dillon Danis responds, "You lost to Jake Paul."
Yep.
And basically, I don't know who this is. Do you know who that is?
I guess it's Tana, but I got no idea.
Yeah, and Dillon Danis captioned it, "You'll do nothing."
I guess it's Tana.
Yeah, so he's basically just been tweeting at the Paul brothers for a while for clout.
Yep.
That's just who he is on Twitter. It's entertaining, but at the same time, it's just like, you call yourself a fighter, you call yourself the highest paid in Bellator, but you haven't fought in 3 years. He tweets out promos for every UFC pay-per-view. Like, yesterday he tweeted, "If Nate Diaz beats Khamzat Chimaev, I'll give one person who likes this tweet $2,000. Must be following at Dillon Danis to win." And everyone's commenting, "Take a picture of your bank account because we know you don't have that money."
Yeah.
Or second, no, if Nate Diaz wins, you're just going to delete the tweet. Because for the Kamaru Usman Leon Edwards, he said, "If Leon Edwards beats Kamaru Usman, I'll give $5,000 to someone who likes this tweet."
Yeah.
After the fight, he deleted the tweet.
Nice. Nice.
And he got into a little spat with Patty Pimblett. You guys know Patty.
Patty the Fatty.
So Patty got banned from Twitter, but Dillon's tweet is still there. And he tweeted, "Hey, at Patty Pimblett, we both put up $75K in a grappling match, and whoever wins, winner take all. Deal?" He posts this, and then Patty responds, he's like, "Why is Conor sending you pictures of his money?
Nice.
It's not yours." And then he comes back later and says, "It's not even Conor's money. He screenshotted it off of a post off of Instagram."
Nice. I was gonna say, that's
He
like
just-
a... He
just
Googled...
he just captioned out the...
Yeah. I was gonna say, he probably Googled it. That was gonna be my guess, so yeah. Nice.
Like, he knows what he's doing. But if he actually fights Logan is going to... I think it won't even last 30 seconds.
I don't think it'll last after the first round either, but if that gets scheduled, we'll go ahead and tackle that one as it comes closer as well.
And our final topic for our MMA show is UFC 279 this weekend. Khamzat Chimaev, the rising star and future title challenger, taking on the UFC legend in his possible last fight with the promotion. Stockton's own Nate Diaz. Now, when this got announced as the headliner for a pay-per-view, I was kind of like scratching my head a little bit, just thinking, how is this a headliner of a pay-per-view?
Is Nate Diaz still relevant?
Oh, he's still relevant.
I would say so, yeah.
People still talk about him because, number one, it's not for a title, which pay-per-views without titles happen every now and then.
Yeah.
They have
Like-
to.
Like
You have
Colby,
to.
Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal.
Mhm.
But the reason that happens is because there's an actual story behind that. You know,
That's
best
true.
friends become enemies. Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor, both fights, that's Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
You're not going to put Conor McGregor on a co-main event.
Yep.
And that. So I scratched my head a little bit, but I guess I still don't understand why that's headlining instead of not being like a co-main event to a title fight. What do you think about that, Josh, that these guys are headlining a pay-per-view?
I don't know. I think it's... I don't know. I mean, it could have gone either way. I think if anybody's gonna... Oh, sorry. If anybody's going to headlight a fight, it's gonna be those two right now.
Agree with that.
I mean, who else are you gonna have to headline a pay-per-view to fill in?
Right.
You
I was
know?
going to say, without a big title fight, without the two big names, right? I mean, if Nate Diaz and... I know Khamzat is still... they're both relevant, enough.
He's a rising star, which is good. It's good to get new stars in the game, obviously.
But I agree with the head. I would see them as a secondary match as well on a card. But if there's no one else, that makes sense to throw them in on a pay-per-view, right? Like this. I don't think Dana's gonna force something. And I don't care if you're right or not. You're gonna have. I don't think he's for it. So I think this is kind of who it is because the rest of them, we got some other decent names on here. But
what I will say is that one came in to kind of save the card and give it more name is Tony Ferguson.
Yep, I was gonna say
Returning to welterweight to fight the Leech, Li Jingliang. And quick turnaround for Lee. He got a big victory in UFC Long Island, I think a month and a half ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
Before that, he lost to Khamzat. And I believe he is number 14 in the welterweight division. Tony Ferguson coming off 4 straight losses. So it's do or die for Tony Ferguson. If he loses this fight, it might be over.
Yeah.
Do you agree,
for
Josh?
Tony Ferguson. Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's definitely like up there. He's getting old.
I'm surprised that he's even sanctioned.
Still fighting?
No,
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he even got sanctioned and didn't get suspended, because when you get knocked out unconscious like that, you get a medical suspension.
Yeah.
Right.
That's fast, too.
Yeah, he last fought in May, so 4 months ago.
Yeah. That's when the kick was, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, so you think 4 months? I mean, I think 4 months is enough time. I would give it, about a month to, get over a concussion or something serious, right, going on up there. A couple months to train, I think 4 is enough for me, but I'm not in the octagon,
But
obviously.
still, it's the reason they give out those suspensions, because it's precautionary.
Right.
Sure.
I think he's rushing back way too quick.
Okay.
I do think Lee's gonna win. I think Tony is done. I just think those 4 losses are really getting to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now he's just in a desperation mode. Okay, I'm going to take a really low-ranked welterweight.
Yep.
And then people will be like, oh, I'm back. But he's fighting a really good fighter in Lee.
Right, and they're not that far off in the rankings. Obviously, 3-4 losses in a row doesn't help, but
That's
11 and 14.
That's not his welterweight rank. This is his lightweight ranking.
Oh, gotcha. So why is he switching? He's just switching to try something different. Hopefully, he can get a victory with a different class.
Yeah.
Is that what you think?
Because he just lost 4 straight fights in
His own rank.
lightweight division,
Yeah.
in a division where he had like a 12-fight winning streak.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you think?
I think he's just trying to get some confidence back.
Yeah. So you think Lee will take it? Do you think it's? And I don't know these fighters as well as you do. Is it going to be more of a grappling match? Do you think Lee's taking it early with a knockout? How do you think this is going to play
I
out?
think Lee's going to knock him out.
All right.
I do. Leach has power, man. Then we got the superhero, Kevin the Trailblazer Holland. Taking on Daniel Rodriguez. My boy is back. I love Kevin Holland. Ever since his last appearance at UFC 272 back in March, after he beat Alex Cowboy Oliveira, he'll be taking on Danny Rodriguez.
Yep.
The Trailblazer is back, and I see him running through Daniel Rodriguez. And he can win this fight however he wants. Oh, wait, and actually scratch that. 272 wasn't his last fight. He fought at UFC Austin, Cater versus Emmett. I forgot about that. Because the only reason I remember, because he was on that card that I went to.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
he stole the show that night.
Hmm.
But since that fight in March, he has stopped criminals. He stopped a mass shooting,
Yeah, I remember that.
What?
and he stopped an armed robbery.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Crazy, man.
Yeah, he's crazy to even jump
that's a
in on
freaking
those
vigilante.
situations.
That's weird. Yeah.
Somebody has a gun, you're unarmed, and you just go in with your bare hands. and-
Right. I was gonna say, A, he's not really unarmed, right? But also B, well, physically and like MMA, UFC, right? Because you basically got 2 weapons in your hands, right?
Correct.
As your hands, I should say. Do you think this card? And we'll go right back to this fight. Do you think this card is just a lot of fan favorites, and maybe that's why they got the headliner of Diaz, they got Holland, in the mix, they got Ferguson in there? Is this kind of like a UFC fans? I don't want to say favorite card or nothing, but kind of these rising stars and these falling stars. Is it kind of maybe that's kind of the intent of this card here? Do you think?
I mean, to start off the pay-per-view, you have Johnny Walker and Ion Cutelaba. That's a fan favorite,
Right,
fight
because
there.
I know Walker as well, I've heard, and again, I'm not the biggest UFC fan by any means, if not one of the bottom couple, so...
And also, you have a women's bantamweight bout, Irina Aldana versus Macy Chizan. I would probably go with Macy in this one. I think Macy's really good. She's very underrated. You should take it.
Nice.
It's kind of sucks because I've seen some shit online. People, they're predicting their cards and they skip over the women's fight.
Yep.
If you do that, you're a casual.
Cash.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
You a noob.
But yeah, I think that Macy's gonna win. I think that she'll tap out Irina Aldana.
Okay.
I could see it going to the ground, her doing that. And another guy who's on the chopping block, Johnny Walker.
Oh boy.
He had high hopes, but he's been pretty unlucky in his last couple fights. I think Kutelaba's going to put the nail in the coffin and knock him unconscious, too.
Mm.
So, yeah. And I have Kevin Holland winning by knockout. I think we're going to see a lot of finishes in this main card. And for the main event... Wow. Listen to these odds. Nate Diaz, plus 700. Khamzat, minus 1050.
Damn.
So bet $100 on Diaz, win $700 if he wins.
Wow.
Bet $1, win $7.
That's pretty nice.
Might have to throw that out there. You think it's worth it? What do you think? What do you think? How do you see this playing out? Is there a clear winner here based on the odds, or what's up?
I don't know. I kind of want to bring in a guest to tell me what he thinks.
Okay, yeah, what you got in mind?
Hey, Khamzat!
Oh, God. I didn't know he was here.
Hello, brothers.
Jesus Christ.
You're talking about my fight?
Yeah, we are.
We were.
What's the deal here? You're not favorited in this fight.
Yes, I am.
Are you sure?
1050,
Dude.
Well, I mean, do you really think you have that big of a chance, or what?
Yeah, Hamza, you know, people are always saying that Nate, he's a dog. You know, when he's not going to win, he always comes to win. You know, they say he dog, but I'm wolf. Wolf eat dog. But I come for him and I smash his face. I know I was in Vegas today, but I come to Sartell, Minnesota to podcast with my brothers. Quick interview.
How do you see this? How do you see yourself closing out this fight?
I smash his face.
What round?
First round, brother. First round. Well, Hamza, we look forward to watching you smash on Saturday night. I know,
That is
brother.
true, that is
I
true.
will deliver, brother. You at BETT Records. I love you, boys. I will see you next week for my victory speech.
Yeah, you better fly safe.
Sure thing, brother.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, before I go, you know, Justin was telling me when you do Russian accent,
Oh, God.
you say
Let's
brother.
not talk about this
You say
right now.
brother at the end of every quote.
That's true. I mean, I learned it from Justin.
What?
I learned it from Justin. That's where I got it.
Okay, Hamza, I know you got, I know you got to fight. See you soon, brother. Goodbye, BETT Records.
There we go.
All right, there was Khamzat Chimaev. Glad to have him back in studio. He will be taking on Nate Diaz on Saturday.
Justin,
at
aren't
the
you glad that guy
T-Mobile
left?
Arena, at the T-Mobile
Justin?
Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Justin,
Beautiful.
aren't you glad that guy left?
Why? He has a fight on Saturday. He has to get back to Vegas.
I know, but aren't you glad he left?
No, I wish he could stay more.
What was that?
What was that? And there goes thumbs up.
Yeah. But yeah, Saturday night.
Saturday
Get
night.
that
Saturday.
pay-per-view.
Woo!
Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz.
Did you say my name, brother?
Yes, I did, Khamzat.
God damn.
And I think we... Oh, wait, here comes Nate.
Oh no.
Fuck this bitch. Khamzat, you're a bitch. I will slap your ass. Fuck you. Nate, do you have any words for Khamzat? Fuck this little bitch. Little fucking monster bitch.
Sounds like a South Park character.
I'm a gangster. California. I need a joint. See you guys later. I see you soon, bro. Alright, get the fuck out of here, you two.
Jesus Christ.
Alright.
What do you say to me, Justin?
Oh, hey, Oz. Oz is here.
Oh my god.
What's up, buddy? All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, BETT Records fans. This was our MMA/combat sports episode. Be sure to tune in to UFC 279 this weekend. It all goes down from Sin City, Las Vegas, Nevada. UFC 279. Let's get it.
And you Vikings fans out there, don't forget to tune in. Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell, Fight Night as well. Boxing this Saturday. Had to throw it in.
Gay.
Peace out.
Like how she move it. I like how she move it. I got that new whip. Jose the dude trip. I like how she move it. I like how she move it.